You know what's funny? On my 29th birthday, the only message I got before noon was from my credit card company. No text from mom. No call from dad. Not even a lazy Facebook post. Just silence. Another random Wednesday in Chicago. Another reminder that I was the responsible one, the one they didn't need to check on. The one who always had it together. Apparently, also the one who didn't deserve a happy birthday. Please like this video and listen to my story till the end, and let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. Around lunchtime, I watched my little brother Liam get tagged in a glowing throwback post from my mom. So proud of our boy, chasing his dreams, changing the world. There were 3 heart emojis and a selfie from some tech event. I just stared at the screen. It wasn't the first time they forgot my birthday. But this time, I didn't make excuses. That afternoon, I stepped out of my office in downtown, a fresh 5-figure bonus sitting pretty in my account. I walked straight to a dealership on the north side. A few hours later, I was standing in front of something they'd never be able to scroll past, a silver Porsche Cayenne. My version of a birthday cake. $97,000 of luxury and a lifetime of swallowed feelings. I parked it in a spot with the skyline behind me, posed in front of it with my heels still on, and posted a picture with a single sentence. 29, self-funded, and finally done waiting for applause. The likes rolled in. College friends. Old coworkers. Even my high school English teacher commented. But from my family? Nothing. 3 hours later, my phone rang. Dad. Maya, he snapped, not even a hello. Where did you get the money for that car? Are you out of your mind? What kind of message are you trying to send? I just sat there on my new leather seats, heart pounding. Oh, he was going to find out exactly what message I was sending. They thought this was about money. They had no idea. Have you ever been the responsible one in your family? The one who never gets noticed until you break a rule? A comment, I've been there if that's you. Wait till you hear what happened at the family meeting they demanded, and how deep their favoritism really went. You won't believe the receipts I brought. The next day, I drove that Porsche straight into the driveway of the house I grew up in. Their cozy suburban home looked the same. Perfect grass, seasonal wreath on the door. You know, the kind of place that screams, nice stable family here. Except we weren't. Not really. Dad opened the door like he was about to stage an intervention. Maya, this is serious, he began. A $97,000 car? What are you trying to prove? I didn't say anything. I just reached into my bag, pulled out a folder, and set it on the coffee table. Inside, spreadsheets, bank records, transfer histories, a quiet little mountain of truth. For 2 years, I'd been tracking every dollar they sent Liam. Monthly transfers of $2,250 labeled living expenses or startup support. Add that up. $54,000. But wait, there's more. His overpriced Brooklyn apartment? Covered. Marketing campaigns for an app that never worked? Paid for. That co-working space with neon quotes on the wall and 0 investors? You guessed it. In total, I calculated around $95,000 in family money quietly funneled into Liam's dream. A dream with no revenue, no traction, just a good Instagram aesthetic. And when I had asked, once, for a $20,000 loan to help with the down payment on my condo, they said no. Told me it would build character to do it alone. So I did. I worked 70-hour weeks, saved every bonus, and bought that condo solo. But looking at those transfers laid out in black and white felt like being erased. Not just forgotten, erased. And then, I heard it. You were already stable, my dad said. Liam needed help. He's still figuring things out. That line? That one right there? It cracked something in me. So, let me get this straight, I said, barely keeping my voice level. Being responsible means I get ignored. And being unstable gets rewarded. Mom tried to say something, her voice soft, defensive. You never needed us, Maya. You've always been so strong. I felt a bitter laugh escape. I didn't want to always be strong. I wanted to be seen. Just once. And that's when Liam finally spoke. From the couch. Hoodie up. arms crossed. There was an investigation, he said. His voice was low, nervous. Some agency contacted me. They said people are filing complaints about the accelerator. He looked straight at me. Did you do this? And just like that, I became the villain. Have you ever been blamed just for telling the truth? For showing people what they didn't want to see? Drop a fire if you've ever been called dramatic for pointing out the obvious. In the next part, Liam finds out just how deep the consequences go. And my parents? They asked me for something that nearly made me laugh out loud. Wait until you hear what they wanted me to do next. The living room was so quiet, I could hear the tick of the old wall clock. Liam just sat there, staring at the folder of printed spreadsheets like they might bite him. And then Dad turned to me, eyes sharp, voice clipped. Did you talk to someone about your brother's program? Maya, do you even understand what you've done? I looked at him, really looked, at the man who had wired thousands into a pipe dream and now wanted to make me the problem. I didn't sabotage anything, I said, my tone calm but my pulse racing. I flagged a scam that was bleeding this family dry. Mom's hand flew to her mouth when she saw the printouts. This can't be right, she whispered. We don't have that kind of money to throw away. Exactly, I said. But you did it anyway. For him. And then I showed them the page that hurt me most, the one with my own loan request. 2 years ago. $20,000. A real investment in a real asset. Denied. Because I was the one who could handle it. Dad's voice cracked. That's not fair, Maya. You were stable. He wasn't. We thought you didn't need help. I took a breath that burned my chest. So, being capable means I get punished? And being careless earns loyalty. Liam slammed his hand on the table. This is jealousy. You never supported my startup. You've hated me since day one. I turned to him, eyes cold. Do you even know what a vanity accelerator is? They prey on people like you, people who want the title of founder more than the work of building something real. They used you as a poster boy. You were their recruiting tool, not their prodigy. Then came the final punch from Dad. You can't talk to your brother like that in this house. This attitude, it's why we worry. Buying a Porsche? Flashing money around? Maya, that's what people with no future do. No future. I looked at the man who once bragged that his daughter worked in finance, who now saw a car and assumed recklessness instead of reward. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said it. I bought that car with money I earned. Alone. No handouts. No co-signers. You never even asked what my bonus was for. You just saw the price tag and decided I'd lost my mind. Then I stacked the papers back into the folder, slowly, one by one. You wanted to talk about money? I said, standing. Well, now you know exactly what your favoritism has cost. And I walked out. Ever had to walk away from people who still didn't get it, even after you laid it all out? Comment, I chose peace if you've ever had to let go for your own sanity. But just when I thought it was over, I got another call. This time, not to scold me. You won't believe what they asked me for next. And I had the hardest decision to make yet. 2 days after that confrontation, I was back in my office downtown, half distracted by emails, when my phone buzzed with a call from my parents' landline. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, Dad called my cell. This time, his voice wasn't angry, it was scared. Maya, the investigators, showed up again. They questioned Liam for hours. They said he might need a lawyer. A real one. They mentioned conspiracy. Do you know what kind of trouble he could be in? I closed my eyes, felt my hands tighten around my coffee. Yes, I said. That's exactly why I reported it. Because this wasn't a bad break. It's a system. And you fed it with every dollar. There was silence on the other end. Then, the inevitable. We need to talk, Dad said quietly. Tonight. Please. For your brother. For the family. So I went. When I walked into the house that evening, the energy had shifted. No anger. No lectures. Just desperation. Paperwork spread across the dining table, legal notices, emails from a defense firm, and one glaring estimate circled in red. $62,000. That was the retainer. Liam sat slouched, hoodie up again, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. My mom's hands were shaking as she clutched a tissue. Dad, didn't waste time. You're the only one in this family who can afford this, he said. We hate to ask, but Liam needs help. Please, Maya. And right then, something cracked, not out of pain but clarity. I looked at the table, then back at them, and said the words that surprised even me. I'm not letting him face this alone, I said. I already did more to protect this family than anyone else in this room. Liam snapped. You turned me in. His voice was raw. You destroyed years of work because you couldn't handle being ignored. I met his eyes. If there was a real investor coming, Liam, they'd be here by now. That program didn't see your potential. They saw your wallet and Mom and Dad's. Dad's face darkened. Enough. This isn't about blame anymore. This is about saving your brother. We're asking you as your family. That word, family, burned like acid. You bought a $97,000 car, Dad said. Clearly you have money. You can do this. I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. I bought that car with money I worked for. Every dollar. And the savings I've built? That's for me. A better home. A future. Retirement. I'm not draining that to clean up a mess I begged you not to fall into. Mom whispered, How can you be so cold? And that's when it hit me. I'm not cold, I said quietly. I'm just done setting myself on fire to keep this family warm. They stared. Like I was someone they didn't recognize anymore. I stood. You wanted to treat Liam like an adult entrepreneur? This is what adulthood looks like. Decisions. Consequences. Accountability. And I walked to the door, passing the same living room where my achievements were always background noise. Outside, the Porsche was waiting. Engine humming. Just like my heartbeat. If you've ever been the one expected to fix everything just because you're stable, drop a broken heart in the comments. Let people know they're not alone. In the final part, you'll see how everything played out, what happened to Liam, the fallout for my parents, and the moment I finally, truly took my power back. 2 years later, I pulled up to a sleek, glass building in downtown Manhattan. My name was etched on the access badge. Maya, Vice President, Risk and Portfolio Strategy. The same girl who once sat in silence while her family praised her brother's vision. Now walking into rooms where people listened, where I wasn't invisible. No one had co-signed for this. No one had floated me a cent. It was all mine. I'd moved out of that starter condo in Queens and into a loft overlooking the East River, paid for with another massive bonus and a promotion I negotiated on my own terms. The Porsche still purred in the garage like a quiet reminder. I did this. I made it out. The accelerator? Shut down. Less than a year after I filed the first complaint, state regulators dismantled it completely. Turns out Liam's elite network was built on lies and inflated promises, hidden fees, fake connections, lawsuits. He avoided jail, but he didn't walk away untouched. Took a plea deal. Probation. Court-mandated financial education. The genius founder? Now a junior designer at a tiny marketing agency in Hoboken. Taking feedback. Answering to real deadlines. No more TED Talk buzzwords. Just real life. Mom doesn't call him a prodigy anymore. She says things like he's figuring it out, or he's trying. As for my parents, retirement got pushed back hard. Between lawyer fees and the nearly $100,000 they funneled into Liam's fantasy, it set them back a decade. Dad picked up part-time consulting. Mom watches neighborhood kids after school. They don't talk about investments at family dinners anymore. And me? I go over for dinner once a month. I bring wine. I leave early. I don't offer financial advice. I don't co-sign guilt. There was no big apology. No tearful reunion. Just quiet change. Dad once asked me how I structured my Roth IRA. And he listened. All the way through. Mom now texts me on my birthday, before Facebook reminds her. And for the first time in my life, they see me. Not the strong one.